3 ways to tap into your intuition. That's what we're talking about today. It's not an easy thing, but with we practice, we'll get there. Good morning. You can live a life in flow where your deepest heart's desires become reality.
You are here to contribute through your essence, fall deeper in love with your life and the journey that you are on.
Take what works, ditch the rest, and always stay set for love.
Thank you for being a part of this community. We're all designed to live in flow. So let's go.
Good morning, beautiful friend.
Good morning. Can you believe it's already May 21st? This morning, I just thought, I cannot believe we're already into summer. Kids are getting done with school. I see all my friends on Facebook, oh my gosh, we're already here. I feel like it was just last summer.
Yes.
Time is such a weird thing.
And COVID's lightening up a little bit. I mean, I know we're all still trying to be safe and wear our mask when we have to, but at least we have a little bit of reprieve in a few places, so it's kind of nice to see things lightening up a little bit and that we get to go back to whatever is normal.
Yeah, something that feels a little bit like, yay, I'm excited. We get to have a summer and not be locked in. So
Yes.
Fingers crossed that things keep moving in this direction and we can get back to being ourselves and exploring the things that really light us up. And hopefully intuition can be a guide for us as we're trying to figure out, what is next for us individually and collectively. And I think intuition is like that guiding light for us to be able to know for ourselves what's the next step. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about intuition because I think it's something that we have gone over in our show before. We've talked about it before. But as we discuss it more and more, and as we spend time researching it and looking into it and trying to add to our own understanding of it, we find and discover new things. And so it's funny because I sent you I called you yesterday, for everyone out there. And I said, okay, well, you called me. I sent you a picture of what we're going to be talking about. And then I sent you an article. And I love that we got on this morning to kind of go over it. And you're like, I hated that article. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let's talk about that. So I just want to dive in. I have 3 different ideas. I don't know what, the ideas or the things that are coming to you, but I just want to have this little Flow Friday connection and let's dive into intuition and maybe give the people out there different, various tactics, from our different perspectives on how they might be able to improve their intuition. So what was something right when you started out saying, I hated that article. And so what was it about the article that you didn't like so much?
Well, first of all, I don't think intuition is a 1, 2, 3, do this or do that, and you get your intuition. So I felt like with the article, that's what it was saying. Try this, try that. And I do believe that all of us have intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is the most beautiful gift that we can get because it's always right. It's never wrong. And it's us that block it and don't trust our gut. And our gut is like a brain. And I just really believe that when you are, it's like who you are as a person is what gives you better intuition. And it's things that get in our way, such as pride and thinking we can do everything on our own and, not really just staying silent, listening to what other people think more than what you think. I think love has a lot to do with intuition. I mean, I could go on and on. And so for me, I feel that some of us are born naturally to be vulnerable, to give love easily, to be trusting easily. It doesn't mean that you can't use your brain to think things and trust that too. But I feel vulnerability really is what helps to have intuition.
Improve it. Okay. So would you say, and this is something that I felt like when I was in sort of the darkest parts of my life, like when I would, like after the divorce, or just when I felt really lost, that was when I felt like I was the most stuck, and it was the hardest to listen to my intuition, and that's when I needed it the most. Like when I really didn't know which way was up. It was like,
Mhm.
"Hello, little voice, where are you? I need you." Because when everything's free flowing and love and forgiveness and life is great, it's that's beautiful that intuition can be more present in those times, but it's like the hard times when I really want to just go, what am I supposed to do? Like, what choice do I make here?
But it's there. You do know what to do. That's just the thing, Eva. I mean, I've had times even for a job where I remember there was a time somebody wanted me to move and I was so
Mm,
comfortable and I made enough money where I was, but I wasn't ever going to grow. So I had to
mm,
take this leap. And so this leap of faith, I just said to the universe, to my intuition, you need to give me a sign. I need a sign. Tell me if I'm doing the right thing. I just need a sign. And I remember you've got to watch for the signs. You have to ask
mm,
and then you have to watch. And I remember just going to see what equipment was going to cost. And I went and I found this microdermabrasion machine that was $900. And I went back to work that day, and I never make $900 in a day. And how much money do you think I made that day? $900, enough to go buy that machine. I mean,
wow.
it's so weird. And then that ended up being a fantastic move. And
Mm,
there's so much more into it than just that one sign. But I just believe that when I've asked, I've always heard. It's just you
mm.
have to quiet down and listen.
I love that. I did write down, ask a specific question, because I think there's, at least in my life, intuition kind of works in two different ways. Sometimes I'm intuitive for other people. So if I'm like working with someone or coaching someone, or like someone's stuck, and, like my brain, how I'm very strategic and I have lots of ideas. So if you and I are having a conversation and you're stuck with something or you need a different perspective, then I can just like intuitively, I just can see all the different paths. And so that's like for someone else, I might be able to just offer up something that then one of those ideas might resonate with you or stick with you or whatever. But I also think that we can be really intuitive about our own lives, but we have to know what questions to ask. And so it's really, like you said, quieting that down, knowing what question you want to ask, like, where should I be going in life? Or what should I be doing? Or should I stay in this relationship? Or, how should I spend my day? Or how can I be of service? Or whatever that deep question is for you. And then you're right, being open. I think so many times we think, it's either going to be this way or this way. So which one is it,
Mhm.
universe? When it's totally this way over here and you're not even looking that way because you're so fixated that it has to be a certain path or a certain way. And so when you ask that question, it's about letting go of all the control of what possible answers could be coming in, and then being open to letting anything, to receiving any information, being like, almost as I would have a conversation with someone and offer up different strategies. I feel like the universe does the same thing back to us. It will offer up, well, you could go this way, you'd
Yeah.
be really happy doing this, or you could choose this road that would bring you in alignment with your values and your beliefs, or you could choose this road. But when you only think it's one way, then you block all these other possibilities. So I do think being open and ready to receive anything is super important to intuition really working for you.
Well, and it's really funny when you said that about other people. It's a good way to practice your intuition, to tell you the
Mm,
truth. You can work on that, before you can work on yourself. And it is still scary because your intuition will tell you let's just say you're in an argument with someone and your intuition will tell you you really need to go say sorry, or
right,
you need to
right.
go hug that person, or you need. And so part of our problem with intuition is we block it by ignoring the voice, because
Mm,
people need to really understand and hear that voice before they can really act on it, and they have to trust what's going. Well, I can't hug that person. What are they going to think? And
Yes.
what you don't understand is, at least for me, I with my clients and having intuition and being able to read people and what they need, whether they want to talk to you, not talk to you, you
Mhm.
you follow that from your gut. And sometimes the universe will tell me to do something and I think, they're what are they going to think? But I do it anyway. And do you know, in 20 something years of doing that, it's never been wrong.
Wow.
I've had a lot of scary situations where it'll tell me to do something and I'll think, "Are you kidding me?" I'm fighting with the voice. But
Yes.
I just think that that's the thing, is if people could at least practice having that intuitive intuition with other people and then work on yourself, you
Right,
know?
trusting it. So I think that could be another step, is being courageous. We talk a lot about courage when finding your flow, and it does take courage. It takes stepping through that fear of something that, like, when you get that idea, like, "Oh, start this thing or go this way or call this person," or whatever might be coming in, there might be a natural resistance against wanting to do that because it might be out of your comfort zone just a tiny bit. But being able to be courageous with when that voice comes in and talks to you and tells you to do something or consider something or move a certain way. And the more we can listen to that, Shelly, do you find that it's like a drip of a faucet, so it might kinda start to come in, and then as you listen to it, you kinda turn up the faucet a little bit and a little bit, and then it can flow more
Yep.
freely, and because it knows, like, "Oh, she's gonna listen." And so it's not there's not this resistance with what it's telling you to do, you just trust it explicitly right from the beginning.
And you know what? I really do, when I say that it's a gift to have intuition, the reason I say that is because sometimes, even right at the start, it doesn't feel like, it was a good experience or whatever
Mm,
that voice is. But in the long run, it's almost how you look at life, and the lesson that you learned got you to where you are. So
mhm,
sometimes hard times, even though intuition is still always there for you, and in it's almost having a flow life. You have to look at things in a way that they're there for a reason. There sometimes we need to learn a lesson.
mhm.
And our intuition is our friend. It is our friend. It may sometimes tell you, I wouldn't go there if I were you, and you're mad and you want to say your piece. And so you do, and you think, why didn't I listen to that voice?
Right.
I should have just, you know, quieted myself. Now I've made it a bigger mess, but you learn something from it. And that's what I'm
Yes.
talking about with intuition. Just follow your gut. It's never wrong.
Mm.
Never.
I think it's and what I hear you saying too is I think intuition, at least for me, will always have you choose the high road. So it's like it's always going to say, what's the most loving road? What is the most loving thing you can do for yourself or for the other person? And when you move in that direction, that's why it's never wrong, because it's always the most loving choice you could have
Yes.
made given the circumstance. And for some people, like, what might be the most loving path for you might be different than for someone else, because for you maybe it's just easier to forgive, and maybe for someone else it just means not yelling, that one time, or it just means saying sorry, being the first person to, like, step up.
Mhm.
So for someone, maybe they don't have that problem at all. So it for everyone is different, but it's always the most loving road. So when intuition is maybe that voice, sometimes we play that negative voice in our head. So if it's mean, if it's negative, if that voice is telling you to hurt someone, hurt yourself, think down, think negatively, that's
Get
not
help.
intuition. Intuition's always love. It's always the highest road for you, what in this moment, whatever that is for you. And so I think that's another a really just important way to view and look at intuition in your life.
I think of, because I do skincare and I have
Mhm,
clients, and of course not with COVID, but I always hug my clients, right?
mhm.
And how does intuition go with that? Some clients aren't huggy people. And
Right.
so your intuition has to tell you, you know, do you hug them? Do you not hug them? And it's just so funny because there's been times where my intuition tells me, I know she's not a hugger, but she wants a hug.
Right.
Okay. And so I'll hug her and and it's so funny is because then as the weeks go, they never leave till I hug them. It's
Aw.
like they're waiting. And that's a simple little thing, but intuition is what tells me, no, you need to hug her anyway. That's what she needs today. And you wouldn't believe how, because the world, it's hard out there in the world, and spreading a little bit of love and joy to the world. That's why I say don't be prideful. Listen to the voice and put out goodness into the world and even to yourself.
I love that. I think that's so cool. One of the random things that I thought about that I'm just going to share as like one final tip since we're rounding out this time is sometimes for us, and I know like we've done this before, Shelly, and I know this is like way out there for some people, but I love tarot cards. And the reason why I love tarot cards, and I was actually talking to Jenny Raher, who we had on our show on Monday. And I said, do you ever use tarot cards, when you're figuring out life purpose or whatever? And I said, the reason I love them is because when you're just looking at the cards yourself, like, I have this one deck. In fact, I have it right over, it's right here. Look, wisdom, right? So these cards are just like random, whatever. Let's just pull one out and see what it says. Okay. So for example, here and now, right? So here's a little card, here and now. What's cool though is when you ask that question, like, okay, universe, blah, 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 I'm wondering. And then you lay those cards out and you interpret them yourself. It's like you're tapping into that intuition within yourself, that subconscious, because you might look at that spread and think different than what I would think. When you can just be open and look at something like that from like this different perspective, it kind of opens up your mind and your heart a little bit to some ideas that maybe you wouldn't think about. And so sometimes, whether that's talking with a friend, whether it's free writing, whether it's drawing, painting, anything creative, even throwing out some tarot cards and just interpreting them, it's just one way of kind of releasing control that you have to have everything figured out. And you kind of let your subconscious mind show you a way or a path that maybe you weren't thinking about. So I just wanted to throw that out there as like a little random
Well,
way to sort of tap in, because I think it's fun. It's a fun way
I
to kind of connect to
Well, and
intuition.
it's all in how you look at things, that obviously
Mhm.
doesn't take the place of people's religious beliefs or any of
Right,
that.
right.
It's like just being open, and you don't live your life by those cards,
Oh my gosh, no.
that just
Right.
gives you an opportunity for those that we don't want to get confused. That it just gives you an opportunity to look at something differently, or maybe that you wouldn't even have looked at it or thought
Mhm.
about it. And it's coming from your own heart and mind. That
Right. Yes.
it's
No
not
one else telling you what they say or what it does.
exactly.
It's just like free writing, or it's just like drawing. It's just letting go of control of what you think something needs to look, and then looking at it through a different lens or a different perspective. And it really just helps for you to be objective about whatever it is that you're kind of seeking answers around for your own life. Like, I really believe at the end of the day, everything you need is within yourself. Every
Mm,
answer that you need is within yourself. And when we can just let go of how we think things need to be, and we're open to what's possible, and we always choose love as the next possible step.
absolutely.
What's the highest choice I can make? What's the most loving choice I can make? Intuition will meet us and our life will have more flow in it.
Well, I hope this was helpful for everyone today.
Yes.
It's just, we could go on and on
I
about
know.
intuition. So, I really hope that a little bit of this helped today.
I love it, Shelly. It was such a fun conversation, totally different than where I thought we were going to go. I really thought like checklists, like let's give people some checklist things,
Yeah,
but
and there
I
it's not
love
a
this.
check.
It's its own checklist, and it
Exactly.
feels more practical than um, ask the universe to give you a sign in your dream. Like maybe, that could work, but how about just show up more loving? Because that seems easier to do
And
maybe not,
forgiving.
but it is beautiful. I love you.
I love you.
Have a great
Hit the
weekend.
bell, everyone. Hit the bell.